Justin Trudeau is again puffing out his chest, trying to divide Canadians and attack parents who are trying to protect their kids.
Welcome back to Northern Perspective, everyone. I'm Cypher.
And I'm Fox. If you need more proof that the media serves at the pleasure of the government that funds it with our taxpayer money, we present to you Exhibit A.
Let's take a look.
Do you support age restrictions for puberty blockers and hormone therapies for trans kids?
I think that Justin Trudeau is trying to divide and distract Canadians by spreading disinformation about the decisions that premiers and parents are making.
What do you think?
What do you think?
I want to know your position.
What is your own party policy? It's your own party policy. A party
I think we
convention.
should protect the rights of parents to make their own decisions.
What does it mean?
With regards to their children. And I believe that adults should have the freedom to make any decision they want about their bodies.
With minors,
How about children?
advanced
I think-
surgeries and medical interventions for minors, as your own party members suggested.
Medical
sir.
interventions like what?
That is the language that your party
What medical
used.
interventions?
Well, you would have to ask your party members.
What medical
such
interventions?
such as puberty blockers and hormone
For
replacement
minors?
therapy. Yeah. Yes.
Irreversible? You're talking about
I
irreversible?
would like to understand your
I just want to be
position.
clear. No, I want to be clear. I just want to be
blockers
clear.
for minors.
Puberty blockers for minors?
Do you agree with that?
Do you agree with that?
I think that we should protect children
What
and their
does that
ability
mean?
to make adult decisions when they're adults.
So
And
you
that
think
will affect-
only
I think-
adults? Only adults should make, you said yes? Just to be clear, you said yes, only adults should take puberty blockers?
I think we should protect children, let them make adult decisions when they become adults.
So that means
you do
you
support age
so that means
restrictions?
you are against puberty blockers for kids under the age of 18. Is that
Yes.
unclear? Okay. What about, can I ask you about, in Alberta?
By the way, I just want to make another comment on this. Justin Trudeau is again puffing out his chest, trying to divide Canadians and attack parents who are trying to protect their kids. He will, in the end, back down on this, just like he had to back down on his firearms policy, just like he had to back down on bringing in medical assistance in dying for people suffering from mental illness. Just like he's backing down again and again and again, he will back down on this because he is not interested in protecting kids. He's interested in using this as a divisive wedge to distract from doubling housing costs and quadrupling carbon taxes on our people.
All right. It doesn't really matter whether you agree with this or not. But I think Pierre's comment on this is telling. And his comment was that Justin Trudeau is trying to use this as a divisive wedge to distract from all of his other scandals. Which is a very important point because here's the thing. With all of the, I will call it, damage that is occurring in this country, and Pierre, right before this that we didn't show you, Pierre just spent about 15 minutes talking about the recent rise in car theft. This is the question that the media is choosing to throw at Pierre Poilievre when it has nothing to do with him.
Right. Again, this is a provincial issue. Healthcare is a provincial issue. Education in schools is a provincial issue.
Like, here's my question for the media. Are you going to Justin Trudeau and asking him why he supports sterilizing young children? Because I haven't heard of a press conference where they're asking that.
Of course not. The media is run by the Liberals right now. They're the ones footing the bill. So, of course, they're going to be Liberal positive.
So isn't it interesting that whenever Justin Trudeau identifies a potential issue that he can attack Pierre Poilievre with, all of the media seems to be his soldiers in that fight. Isn't it interesting that the independent media are the ones doing this? So we want to bring some stats to everybody's attention. And this comes from an Angus Reid poll. And this was done in September of last year. So the first one we want to talk about is this one right here. Canadians feel media is too fixated on these discussions. Okay? So 60% of Canadians feel that the media should shut the hell up. Because they're tired of talking about it, and they're tired of it being shoved in everybody's faces. So that's the first issue. So the second issue is what these reporters are asking Pierre about. They're saying, well, you don't support puberty blockers for kids? No. And his reaction was one of disdain, like, in minors? No. Now, here's the thing. The media is rabid about this because there's some sort of perception out there that the vast majority of Canadians are in favor of this. Well, let's take a look at this poll. And you can tell a poll and the narrative that it wants to project based on how it presents its numbers. So here, the Angus Reid poll says, for their part, Canadians are hesitant when it comes to puberty blockers. A little more than hesitant. Asked if they would allow their child to begin hormone therapy to affirm their chosen gender, just 1 in 5 Canadians, or 21%, and 1 in 5 parents of a minor, 20%, say that they would support this. Notice how they're positioning this as 21% and 20% of Canadians would support this. They're not actually saying 79% of Canadians do not support this, or 80% of parents of a minor do not support this.
That's a huge number.
That's a massive number.
That means the majority of Canadians in this country do not support these types of therapies for their children.
And here's an interesting one. Half of those individuals who do not identify as male or female, so they're part of the trans community, say that they would support this. Half. So that means 50% of the people that are identifying as trans are actually against this. So what does that say? I think it says this isn't a good idea.
Well, and countries in Europe are finding out that it's not a good idea.
And thousands of kids across North America are finding this out too late, that this isn't a good idea. Because these drugs have never been used this way, ever. These drugs are typically used for children that start puberty way too early.
Yeah, precocious puberty is the medical term.
And it's designed to delay it a couple of years so that they can start having their adolescent period at the appropriate time. The problem is these are being marketed as reversible. But if you take puberty blockers too long, you can't change your mind.
Well, any drug has side effects. I mean, even something like Tylenol has side effects. It can have side effects on your liver, right? And I think that these are being marketed as like this cure-all solution when we don't have long-term studies proving that they're proving their efficacy in the manner that they're being used. And again, everything has side effects. What are the side effects? Are they telling the parents the side effects when they're giving these children these medications? Are they like, it'll be fine?
Right. And one of the side effects, potentially, of puberty blockers is sterilization. And if you take them long enough, you're pretty much guaranteed to be sterile. So what they do is they'll tell these kids, well, you can go on puberty blockers, and if you want to make a decision later, well, you can come off of them and you can still have a normal life. Thousands and thousands of kids are finding out that's not the case.
Well, they might not even be kids anymore. You know, maybe they were teenagers when they started the medication, and now they're a little bit more grown up. Maybe now they'd like to have their own children, and they're not able to. And
that's the issue, right? And there's a larger issue at play here.
There's many issues at play here, like telling children that there's something wrong with the body that you're in. Here, let's give you medication and surgeries to fix it. That's a huge issue.
And we could probably spend like 2 to 3 hours talking about this, but the main issue at hand that happened today was that you saw Trudeau's use of the mainstream media going after Pierre. Now, he held himself pretty composed here, considering, right? And the problem is he was being forced to take a side. Well, Why not take the side of kids? Why not take the side of parents? Why not take the side of people that for generations, this hasn't been an issue?
Well, and we noticed today that, again, he did take a side for the first time in public that we know of. And it wasn't merely, well, provinces and parents should, intervene with kids. Parents should raise kids. It's a provincial issue. He really took a side this time. And we were kind of asking ourselves, why might that be?
Right? Why might that be? And it was after we looked at these stats that we saw, well, when 80% of Canadians are actually in favor of this, of standing by parents and kids, sounds like that's the side to take. Right?
Well, and I think he's getting bolder now that we at least suspect an election is coming.
Right? Because he hasn't talked about this really at all. He's avoided it, and he has stayed on the sidelines as much as he could. But things have changed.
Today was different.
And the other reason today was different is Trudeau has been under fire significantly because of this Waffen-SS Nazi scandal. Because it was revealed that his office was the one that actually invited the guy. So it was proven that Anthony Rota was a fall guy. Rota didn't know the guy was showing up. Trudeau did. His name was on the invitation to the guy. So this is your evidence of the fact that the media serves at the pleasure of the left right now. But this is why we're here. We are committed to bringing you the truth, bringing you the stats, even from pollsters that lean left. The data is clear. Canadians side with Danielle Smith, and Canadians side with Pierre, which is why Pierre sided with Canadians. And he's going to be allowed to be bolder and bolder and bolder as we march forward. Because, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be your new prime minister, and we're going to get rid of all of this rhetoric that has been infiltrating the schools, infiltrating the homes, infiltrating workplaces, and getting back to just being respectful to one another as Canadians, like we have been for generations. We don't need to be taught how to speak. We already knew how to do that, because that's the Canadian way.